YouTube, what up? Welcome to the xo1 workshop. I got a quick update for y'all. There's been a lot of talk on YouTube about these spools, mostly made for the Arrma. So I went on there today and I seen two videos, inboxed the guys, and I told them, I would pay them if they would make me one. So then I just kept thinking about it, it kept bothering me. I said, you know what? Let me write down everything that the guy with the 8mm spool, I would like to have an 8mm. Plus, you don't have to change the bearings out if you use his particular one. It seems a lot stronger. And I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well make it, as heavy duty as you can. So I ordered everything to make it. Stuff didn't come in yet. So I came downstairs to see what parts I have. I know I had some old, I don't know what they call it, the dog bone coupling things that the dog bone slide into. I know I had some old parts. So I came downstairs and I actually found two brand new ones. I don't even know how the heck I even had them or what I bought them from, but they were new. So what I did is I messed around with it and I was trying to find out what millimeter parts that I have that could actually go in there, either an 8mm or a 5mm. So what I came up with is this right here is one of the bearings that goes on the center diff. This is actually from my Vorza, but they're the same thing. So this is an 8mm shaft right here, right? I don't have anything that's 8mm shaft, so the next best thing that I do have is a 5mm shaft. Now what I did is I'm not using this HPI flux Vorza motor anymore. So what better shaft to have is a 5mm shaft that came out of this. Now I took and I banged it out so I can cut it. It's cut off. Actually, it's actually inside the spool, but I cut it off. I got the length that I needed out of it. One end already had a flat spot for the original spot that the pinion will go on, so that was one side I didn't have to file down. So basically this is what you can do if you have an old motor laying around that's a 5mm that you're not using. Something maybe is burned up. I mean, this was actually a good motor, but I wasn't going to use it anymore. Alright, so if you got an old motor, bang the shaft out, cut it off, cut what you need. This is the bearing that goes on the center diff of the Arrma. Now this is an 8mm, so what I found out is this little bearing right here, this little bearing goes on the xo1 steering columns. Let me see if I have one right here. Here's one right here. This is for the steering. There's two of them, one on the right and one on the left side for the steering. Anybody that has an xo1 knows what this is right here, this part. So this bearing right here actually goes inside of this for the steering. So messing around with it, found out that this bearing fits exactly. Let's see if I can get it in there. It fits exactly in the center of that. So it's perfect too. So what I did is I took two of those little bearings per one of these big bearings, because you see you got some more space on the other side. You see that little lip? So you put two of these bearings inside of there, and it is 5mm. Perfect. 5mm. So you can use that to fill up the gap of an 8mm. It has to be an xo1 steering bearing. You can probably use one off of a slash steering. It's got to be the steering bearing. It fits exactly inside of an 8mm bearing that goes on the center diff. Okay, so I use 4 of these, two of these per one of these. So it's 4 little ones and 2 big ones put inside of it. This thing is magnet strong. Take your old motor. This is a 5mm shaft. Bang it out as much as you can. This end right here was actually about maybe about that long. It was as long as, well, it stuck out, so I can't really tell you how long it is, but anybody who takes out the cinders, you're going to see it does move. Put it in the vise and bang it so this side forces. But this magnet is strong, man. Bang it so this side forces out that way, and that way you can cut off the length that you need. It's more than enough, but make sure you make your measurement right. That way you cut it, because you're going to need room to move these cups around. You want to make sure that these dog bones actually have some moving room in there. And man, I nailed it, bro. So what I do is I got the 5mm shaft that I cut off from an old Arrma motor. I got my flat spots in there. I made my measurements and my spacing. Now the thing that you might run into is this motor mount right here and the motor mount in the front. It has to be spread out to a certain amount. That way you can line up with the holes down there. You got 2 holes on this side and you got 2 holes back there. You want to make sure that this thing is spread out enough. That way you'll be able to have your 4 holes lined up. Another way you can tell is if you got it spread out enough, if this piece right here fits on there, it's perfectly spread it out, it's going to tell you that it's perfect for the bottom of it. So you can use this as a guide. Man, I nailed it, bro. I nailed it. So I got a Mod 1 xo1 pinion on there, and I had a Mod 1 40 tooth plastic spur from a eRevo. I'm not sure which one it came from, but it is a Mod 1. I have a steel one coming in, but right now I got a plastic one. I just want to make sure it worked. And I have a pinion spur gear adapter on there, 5mm. Bro, it works perfect. When I put these dog bows on here, I went and got some bearing grease that I use for the car. It's high tempered bearing grease. And I put it on each end of these dog bones and put it in there. This just to make sure you keep the heat down. It can't hurt. This right here that you see is access that's spent out. So I just wanted to spin it, let it all come out, whatever's in there is all that I need. And I can just clean that up, wipe that stuff up. I got some here. You might be able to see a little bit back there. And in there, I got some. Perfect to put in there to make sure you don't have any heat buildup. Now, I ain't good at measuring, but I damn sure nailed this. Alright, let's see what it is. Smooth. Perfect. And that's it. Perfectly lined up. No problems, no issues whatsoever. So I got the 8mm parts coming in. When they come in, I'll make a stronger one just in case something happens to this one. But there it is, man. I spent $0. I had all this stuff at the house. Used the old motor, used the shaft out of an old motor, 5mm. Banged it out, got my length, cut it, and that's that. So there it is. To you guys who came up with the concept, I appreciate it. If it wasn't for you, I would have never ever even have thought about it. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.